Good evening, everyone. I'm waiting on Kelly to get here. She's my co host tonight. Sorry I'm a little late. I got stuck on another channel. I'm really apologize. So I'm going to give a few people a few minutes to get in here. So we're just going to wait till Kelly gets in here. She's my host tonight. And give people a chance to come in. We're going to talk about thank you, Chasing for America. Showing up. Sorry I'm late. I apologize. I'm just waiting on my co host to get here. And when she comes in here, I got to put the link in. Great. Stupid thing. Give me a sec. Need for Kelly to get here. I'm going to put the stream link in. Hi, Josh. Thank you for coming. Stop doing that. No, here we go again. I'm waiting on my. Hi, Bill. Thank you for coming. I'm waiting on my co-host, Kelly. So I'm posting the link in the chat. This is a woman's chat tonight. And I'm going to set my rules tonight. The rules for my channel are you will show respect for my host. You will show respect for my mods. You're entitled to your opinion, but you will not disrespect them. There will be no racist comments in here or disrespect for my mods. You have questions? That's fine. This is a panel that we're going to discuss. That is very interesting. And I'm waiting for Kelly to get here, even though I put the link in there. Hopefully she's here soon. It's about what men go through. So I got a few links that Joe sent me and sent Kelly. And I'm going to let Kelly take the floor. And if you have comments, you can come up on the panel, but this is a woman's open panel that we will be discussing these issues. What a man goes through. There was a woman who transitioned into a man, and then she got to understand what a man goes through, like abuse and certain situations, like how they with women in the relationships. So if anybody's offended, I suggest you go somewhere else. But this is an open discussion that needs to have understanding. This is about men and women and their experiences, like even if they transition, there are very few people that experience and understand and put themselves in that person's shoes. So please don't get offended or say something nasty. I don't want anybody in here showing porn. So please be respectful to my mods and be respectful to my host. And Kelly is going to take this away. If you have any questions, put them in the chat and I will ask Kelly them, or you can come on the panel, even though you're a guy, but I expect you to be respectful and no racist comments or you will be booted. That's the rules. You got the stream link, Kelly, or do you need it? Kelly, there you are, my darling.
Oh, yes, and I
Good
apologize.
evening, sweetie. Finally, a woman's panel.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
now I set my rules, and I expect everybody to respect you. This is the floor. You go ahead and talk about what we
Ugh.
spoke about earlier about what's going on.
Okay, so we spoke earlier about the feminism issue, correct? We talked
Yes,
basically how men get the bad end of the stick, per se,
yes,
um, in many situations. So it wouldn't be specific to, per se, child support. Um, when even in those cases, necessarily, that's a problem too with the family court system, but that's another issue. I
yep.
think feminism is detrimental to the family, and when men and women absolutely need to learn how to work together because it's non-productive for the children. um the other issue is with we were talking about the false rape issue, which
Hmm.
this has happened many times that I'm aware of.
Yep.
um or when we have scenarios where like a 19-year-old is dealing with a 17-year-old, and then the 19-year-old has to register on the sex offender list for the rest of his life because he was dealing with a 17-year-old whose parents got pissed off probably and took his ass to court. So I hate to lump all these things together, but they're actually relative.
How
So,
about that trans woman? I'm not trans woman. The woman who transitioned into a man, that she got a better understanding of what men went through and saw
oh,
through the eyes of men.
well, in regard to that, I know a few people that have transitioned. They worked hard, saved their money, and 2 out of 3 regret it. Just saying.
Yeah,
They regret that they even went through with that surgery. That's technically an open wound, okay? And something, I don't want to get too graphic, but it has to have something to keep it open, if you know what
yeah.
I'm talking about.
But they understand what a man goes through, and they've gotten into relationship. If
Oh,
you
you're
look at,
talking about women turning into men? Well, I
yeah,
would this okay, well this would happen
that they
both ways.
see, they've got to see, remember that link that
Yeah,
Joe sent us,
yeah,
that
yeah.
the person like was saying about that once they understand what a man goes through.
Oh,
Remember?
okay, get it.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, yes.
Yeah.
That yeah, nobody wants to be a man. Who wants to be a man?
Mm.
Nobody wants to be a man. Not at all. I would never sign up for that.
Yeah.
Men are in this country are basically bred to work hard, take care of us, and die.
Yep.
Reproduce. That's about, and I hate to say it that way, but that's what they're looked at as. They're looked at, hardworking, reproduction, and then you die.
Exactly. And
I
it,
personally think a 40-hour work week alone is hard enough, especially as you get older. 20, 25, 30, yeah, maybe it's a walk in the park. You hit 40, you start to see the difference. You get closer to 50, then it's like, holy shit, how am I going to do another 15 years? Typically. Now, not to say for everybody. I mean, I think with women, let's say my uncle, now he retired at 65 and he's wore out. But then I have an aunt that's 67 who's just retiring, and she's like a spring chicken. But that's comparison in the job positions they had. Sitting at a clerical desk is a little bit different than having to run around day in, day out, flights in, flights out, you know. So the man's job and his role is absolutely, in my opinion, a lot harder than ours. And
Yeah.
maybe I'm biased, but I don't want it. I mean, the shit that I have to see people go through. My cousin has to register on the sex offender list for a scenario similar to what I told you. Now, she was 16, but told him she was 18. Now, this is 30 years ago, maybe 25. People weren't asking, let me see your ID, prove to me that you're 18.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. And then it was a pregnancy scare and go to court, sexual offender, rest of his life.
That's
And
sad.
it went so
It
far
really
as,
is.
yeah, it went so far as where his children were getting harassed at school and they didn't even know why. Because you can look that stuff up. You can look up your area, see who lives in your neighborhood, and then it will tell you, these dots come up.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of shocking. I mean, I do encourage people to do it. But if you're going to do that, look up their name, see what the charge is for and what degree it is, because there's different degrees to this. So don't just assume, oh, sexual offender. It may not be that scenario.
Exactly.
So,
Men, like, you got to be careful. Men have to be careful these days.
yeah.
Especially, it's just like I worry about my own boy.
Hmm.
you know, it's lie their age. Like even with men, like like you have a daughter. It's like if she gets pissed off, she can say, "Hey, he sexually molested me,"
Yeah.
because she's angry with you. And this
Hmm.
is a big problem. Big problem.
And I mean, men, it's getting to the point where men probably, don't even want to, they may still in certain areas, but it's sketchy on even approaching women. Because,
Yeah, it is. They don't, because of some are just like really psycho. I'm
mm-hmm.
not saying all. We can't like put every woman.
Everyone's, yeah, we can't
Yeah,
say,
and this is the problem that men feel that way. They do feel that way. It's like women are putting it in the same category, you know, and it shouldn't be like that because I understand they feel like that. And,
yeah.
and today they're feeling so. I can't even explain it. You take the floor, Kelly. You're my
Well,
co-host, babe.
I mean, this isn't new. I guess, 20, 30 years ago, like I said, situations like this were happening. A good friend of mine was on a work site. Now, women have volunteered themselves to be involved in what I would consider to be a man's job. I don't want to go run a jackhammer, which I probably don't even think I could, for any period of time much longer than a few minutes, maybe. I don't know. I've never tried,
I know.
but I don't want to do it. Needless to say, on the job site, he had forgotten her name. So he said, "Excuse me, Miss Lady." She went to the union behind that and said that she felt uncomfortable with him calling her that. He forgot your fucking name.
Really?
What did you want him to say? What I mean, is there a proper, so, and then, if men, let's be honest, men cannot, I mean, women cannot do the same job as a man. Certain things, yes, but when it comes, men are built for things. Our productive levels on the construction site are probably not going to be the same, hence equal pay.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could, possibly say that equal pay is would be legit if you're not doing the same workload. That's not fair. You know,
Exactly.
how do you make that even? You know,
Exactly. And then you have women like they'll complain about, because a man makes more, and then they're wanting more pay. Well, it's based on what they don't understand. I'm not cutting every woman down. I'm not. What they don't realize, it's based on experience. They're sitting there whining.
yeah,
I don't care who gets offended, but it's the truth. They're whining. These men are out there working, experience, building their way up. You're coming in the job as a woman. You're there 6 months. Do you think you deserve that pay?
exactly,
And I'm
exactly.
tired of it. It's like they're trying to masculate our men, and it's not right. It's not. These people need to wake up into reality. Now, you got the floor, baby. Go ahead, Kelly.
Well, that's always been a agenda to. It's always been an agenda to basically. Well, they came up with this thing called toxic masculinity, like trying to say that too much, too much hoorah per se is bad. So they don't want you to be too manly. You know, which I think is crazy because a man should be a man. Now, I'm not saying we should go back to, cave days where men are hitting the women over with clubs and just dragging them in the
Yeah.
cave. Okay, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
But to me, all of this is designed in propaganda to potentially ruin the nuclear family. That's it. That's all.
And
You know,
here's another problem I have. I don't know if you've ever seen this stuff. I've been involved with groups, that, and this is with men. They complain about, and I understand that women tend to use the children against the father to, and it's really disgusting. You shouldn't do that. Don't
no.
ever use your children. You should be working together instead of it's. I don't know what the term's called. I totally forget. But
Well, now I will say because I was guilty of doing that. I did it for a couple months, and then I came to my senses. I mean,
mm,
I was 19, I was dumb, but it was only a couple month period. But then I realized I'm not doing a benefit to my son, and people need to also think about what do you want. Now, it'd be nice to have time and money, okay? If you somehow can't work it out, it would be nice.
yeah,
But if I have to pick one over the other, I'm going to pick the time because the time is not replaceable.
yeah, exactly.
And the father's role is just as important. I have seen men raise children better than I have seen women do it, single men.
Amen. True.
So I don't feel like they get the credit that they really deserve when it comes to that. You know, they're totally
Sorry. Oh, I gotta get a drink.
I just they are the expectation is way up here for productivity, you know, and it's like they get cut no slack. Now for us, oh, it's easy to have a baby and then okay,
Yeah,
you have WIC, you have social services, you have different agencies. Young men don't have that.
exactly.
They're just out on their own, fucking figure it out, it's life. That's why we have a generation now that's more staying at home longer. They can't afford to really be on their own. And through COVID has actually made people more um, restless, anxiety, depression,
Yep,
um, numerous things, and I think it's harder for them because us older people have been through maybe not the exact same situation, but we're used to non-technology. We're used to going outside and playing. We're used to having bare minimal at our fingertips, whereas they're not used to that.
No. So, what do you think about women abusing 911 and pretending, oh, he hit me? And then I've seen cases and videos of women slapping and beating themselves
That's a
and
joke.
abusing themselves and making, when they're the abuser, and this guy goes to jail and he's being abused.
I'll tell you, in Chicago, they do not play that shit. If you call Chicago police and they come and they assess, you know what they'll say? Your stupid ass is going to be with him tomorrow. We're not taking nobody to jail. Good riddance. I've seen that happen. A
Yeah.
chick got her tooth knocked out. Now, I'm not going to say that she wasn't the instigator, because she was the instigator. But he knocked her tooth out. And I was like, okay, that was a little bit too much. But that's what they've been doing. I've always seen them do this. So, I'm staying out of it. But when the police did come, that's exactly what that cop told her. You're going to come bail him out and you'll be right back with him tomorrow. So I'm not taking anybody to jail.
Okay, what about if she's abusing him and he doesn't retaliate? That's what I'm
That's a
really
hard one to prove. Now,
exactly.
if the
And
police show up,
go ahead,
if,
Kelly. I'm sorry.
if the police show up on the scene and you have battle wounds, oh, they're taking the woman to jail nowadays. But if you don't really have any marks, that's going to be kind of indecisive.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
I saw a video where the woman videotaped herself fucking herself up, and the cops caught it, and he had marks all over him, and and they found the video, on her phone because she posted it as a dummy, you
who
know,
goes?
and she got caught. This is
I'll
a
tell you,
problem.
I'll tell you what. When I was young, before 20, I punched a man dead in his face. Okay, and he smacked the shit out of me to where I saw stars. Didn't punch me, just smacked me. When I went to my mom
Mhm.
crying, you know what she told me? Don't put your hands on a man. Now you learn your lesson. And I was like, oh, I'm thinking my mom's going to be on my side, when she just told me the harsh reality. Don't put your hands on a man,
Yeah.
you know? So I learned that way, like, I'm not going to try that again, you know? So we live and we learn, but I mean, this going out of your way to try to uh, hurt yourself purposely to try to get the man in trouble, yeah, that's messed up. I don't agree with
Yeah.
that. Hopefully there's some repercussion for that. I don't know
Oh
what you
yeah.
can really do.
Exactly.
But I mean, people nowadays, it's so much technology, people can lose their jobs over the smallest thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how many Trump supporters have lost their jobs? I've seen a
Yep.
few.
Yep.
I've never seen anybody lose their job for supporting Biden, but that's another whole other ball game.
Oh yeah. We know that.
But our sons are different, and I think we need to make them aware, and absolutely give them a heads up on this,
Yeah.
because
Educate. We need to educate our sons.
yeah,
You know. Yeah.
because you said
Because
you dealt
I'm
with a crazy
I
ex.
can't talk about it because my son actually watches this show, so I can't say he does watch it a lot.
Okay,
So
okay,
you and I will discuss this off in
okay.
another matter by ourselves.
Well, I'll say that I've dealt with it. My son's first like steady girlfriend, couple years, she was very aggressive, and she always wanted to pick a fight, like always trying to poke him. And he thought it was cute, whereas it would piss me off. Like, don't let her start doing that. And he's like, it's funny. I don't care. That doesn't even hurt. That's not the point.
It's
Don't,
abuse.
right. Don't let her think that she can even do that. Um, they did break up and they're still friends, so it's okay. But
Uh,
yeah, we had a couple of run-ins. So
I know I would talk about it, but my son will take me for. Don't tell my business. Don't tell
yeah,
nothing. I said, well, I didn't mention your name.
yeah.
No, this woman he was dating was
She was
she made the wrong move, and this mama knocked her out.
yeah,
She
yeah.
did so. I gave her fair warnings. I don't take no shit. You mess with me, you gonna get hurt, and she sure did. And
I'm not
she went crying to my man, and my man said, looked at her and said, she gave you fair warning. You get
yeah,
what you deserve.
yeah. Well, the other thing, that kind of worried me about that is both of her parents were like very professional in my town
Mm,
and had names, both her mother and her dad. So that kind of concerned me because I'm
yeah.
like, oh, well, I don't need any more trouble. I've been out of trouble for years.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that was, but actually, believe it or not, they were way more ahead, knowledge wise than me at the time. So she did serve a
Yeah.
purpose and appreciative for her, even through the little minor calities, whatever. But
Exactly.
yeah, definitely something has to be done. It was a football player here that almost lost his whole fucking career behind a threesome one night. The girls felt embarrassed after they did it. They went to the police, tried to claim rape. They pulled him off the Badgers. They had him in court, took him, out of school. I don't know how much money he's suing now, thank God. But
Yeah.
who knows how much money he had to spend. But if it wasn't for them text messages, they probably would have believed it. Text messages are the only thing that saved his career.
Well, my son went to jail because of this person. I mean, I don't care if he gets mad at me, but I ain't getting into detail.
Right.
And I was like, where is my son? I haven't heard from him. She said, oh, he's in his apartment sleeping. No. Little did when I found out my son went to clink clank,
Yeah.
I was infuriated. I love my son, but I knew how that one woman was. And I said to his social worker, I said, I know I wanted to tell the judge because the judge knew my hubby's family.
Uh-huh.
And the lawyer said, we ain't having it. So they said I couldn't speak, that I was a threat to her. She got a protection order and said, I can't talk to her. I can't do it. But she's the one I asked, like, where's my son? Because that's I knew they were in a relationship. I didn't know they broke up. I didn't know anything. But when I found out, I was pissed. She has done this to multiple people, multiple men.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that. That's another thing. If there was a way to, well, I mean, our state does have ways to look up people, but still, that's not going to tell you their history.
But it gave my son a bad name. That's what, like he's a woman, he's a woman beater. But she pushed him to that moment. I told him, Zach, you were wrong. He's gonna watch this and kill me. And he gonna call me, bitch. I told him. I said, I lost my train, my train of thought.
Yeah, yeah, worrying about him calling you and bitching you out, huh?
Yeah, I know he's done it.
He'll be all right. My son gets mad at me too. That's part
Yeah,
of being a mom and a My son sent me a meme and said, "This is me and my mom." On one side, it was South Park characters. On one side, it had the two of the South Park characters hugged up. And then on the other side, it had both of them pointing a gun at each other and saying, "This is me and my mom." So I think it's like that with a lot of moms and their sons. We're very protective, over your children, period.
My son has come, like I went to pick him up for the holidays and he had his arm wrapped up. I said, "What happened to your arm?" Here he got so angry, instead of hitting her, he took and he hurt himself. He had to go get surgery for a hand repair. He went cut. I mean, he didn't want to hit anybody, but
Well,
when they moved into their other apartment, because he complained about everything, this woman was just unhappy with herself. She had no parents. She had a dad, but he disowned her because she did some crazy stuff. You know, sold his gun, stole from him, and stuff like that. And when I found out more and more, and I mean, I thought she was a nice person. Then I started seeing the true her. I felt something was off. I was like, okay, I tread lightly with her.
well, when you first initially meet someone, for the first 9 months, you're only meeting their representative. So
Hmm.
you're meeting who they really want to be.
Hmm.
Then, as time goes on, you get to know the true person and who they
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it absolutely, it's a problem. And,
It is.
I don't really know exactly how to fix it. Um, but for men to feel as if they can't stand up for themselves,
Exactly.
um, that's not cool.
No,
You
it's
know,
not. I agree. I really do. If any other woman wants to come up here and talk to us, you're feel free. This is a woman's panel. But I won't put up with disrespect to Kelly or anybody in the chat, you know? No racist comments. You can have your opinion. That's fine. Or you will be booted. And I mean it. I don't take no shit on my channel. Just like Kelly. We don't take no shit.
actually, I think I'm pretty tolerant. I get mad momentarily, but then
I do too.
I let go of it. Look, we're not all gonna agree all the time. We're gonna get angry at each other. Stuff isn't always gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that happens in our own family. So to think that it won't happen on social media, that's a lie.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have to like and love everyone to get along with them.
Exactly.
For
It's the
me,
same with me. You can
you
agree and disagree. You can get a little mad about what they say,
well,
but
and it
but
makes me,
sometimes you got to walk away.
yeah, but it makes me wonder how many people have, had interactions or and been in a workplace where you're forced to deal with people you don't necessarily want to deal with, you know?
Now that you mentioned that, Kelly, workplace harassment. This is what bothers me. Like, women are always complaining they're sexually harassed at work. But what if a man is sexually harassed? How are they looked at? When they file a complaint.
Well, see, it's never that you don't really hear that.
Hmm.
You don't
It's
really
very
hear that. Men just basically take it, and that's not always cool. I've heard a couple people on YouTube, come out and talk about sexual abuse and what they've been through as a man. And men, that's something you're not really gonna get out of men because it's a topic nobody wants to talk about. You know, not that I don't want to hear it. I'll talk about it, but I'm saying they don't. Men feel shameful, and that's messed up. But society has formed it to where men should feel shameful. Like, Why don't you want to sleep with a woman? If your teacher is hitting on you in middle school, why wouldn't you want to do it?
Mm.
Well, maybe because I'm 12 and I don't want to do that yet. Or, the workplace scenario, they just think men should take it as a compliment. Like men just want to sleep with anything that moves. So why wouldn't you want somebody to smack you on your ass or grab you by the balls or whatever it is,
Yeah. And
So,
this is a topic that should be talked about and shed light on, like everything we're discussing tonight. It should be really shed light on, like sometimes we as women have to, there are some women that will take a step back and say, look, these people are going through this stuff. It's not exaggerated. Is what they're experiencing as men, just as women. So the door swings both ways. You got to really
yeah,
look at it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And as I don't find it fair, I just don't know where to define the lines at. Even
Exactly.
even for women, if a man is complimenting you, like, oh, you look nice today, thanks. Whereas some women would find that offensive, like, oh, I'm married and he knows that, and it's not always said in a negative aspect. A compliment is not always said with bad intent. Appreciating beauty, I mean, what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it. I think people take it the wrong way, especially married women. You know, they're not flirting with you. They're just saying, you look very nice today.
And a
And
lot of
people,
it, I think, is insecurities too.
hmm
Like, it does not bother Mo a bit if somebody says, oh, Kelly, you look nice today. He doesn't give a fuck about that.
I think it's a lot of jealousy.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, I may not be the beautiful woman in the world. I don't care. I'm me. I'm me.
Hmm.
My boyfriend always complimented me. You look beautiful. With or without makeup.
Yeah.
I'm me.
Yeah.
Like women are so. We as women are so on our looks. We are so uptight. Like I'm not saying every woman, but there are women out there. Like I'm fat. I'm this. I'm that. It's because society portrays that we need to be this.
But it hasn't always done it.
TV.
Look at Marilyn Monroe.
Mm-hmm,
Marilyn Monroe was probably a size 12 through 16,
mm-hmm,
12, 14, 16. She was looked at as beautiful by everybody.
exactly.
Now they want you to be like a size 2 to 6.
Exactly. Sorry. I was skinny as a kid. I lost that weight and I look like a skeleton. My family was complaining when I lost all my weight again. I mean, I went like as a teenager, I was like a little heavy, started at 12s, and then I dropped all this weight. Then I gained it back, and then
Everybody doesn't look good like that though. I
yeah,
don't
my weight up went up and down.
I don't look good under a 12. My bone structure isn't built for it.
Yeah,
So
well, I dropped down to a 12. I was always in an 18, and I dropped down to a 12. My family seen like when I met Tom, I was like I wasn't eating. I was just like stressed. I was going through so much. I mean, my waist was like, and my family was like, "You're looking like a skeleton." And I was like, oh, ooh.
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel sexy that way because society says you gotta be thin.
yeah.
You can't have extra meat on your bone. Some guys like extra meat on his bone. You know what? I think it's the stereotype. And it's like we have to love ourselves as men and women. We have to love ourselves for who we are.
Somebody's always going to judge you anyway. Somebody's always going to bring it upon themselves to judge you. So that's a no, you're always going to fail if you're looking for what others' opinion is of you.
I mean, it's even with men too. They're insecure with their looks too. I mean,
Mm.
it's just like, it's like, am I good enough? Am I good looking enough? It's not what I see. It's not what's on the outside. It's what's in the inside of a man's heart and a woman's heart. That's how I say it.
Well, now they, plus they bring all these new things in, like high value men, low value men. It's like, who makes this call on who's low value and who's high value? Money does not necessarily make you a high value man. You can have all the money in the world and still be a fucking idiot that no woman wants to deal with because you don't have compassion, you don't have humor, you don't have a personality, et cetera, whatever you're looking for. So, whoever, there is no, it's a scale for everybody personally, but there's no general scale that you can put any person on. And for society to judge, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is, this isn't right, this is too fat, this is, it's bullshit. So I don't know. More people, I think, it have to be, find comfort within themselves and have confidence, because I think personalities are gonna go a lot further than looks anyway.
Yeah.
Because looks don't last forever. You can have a
No, it's
trophy wife.
what's in the front.
You can have a
Exactly.
trophy wife at 25, and at 45, she is not gonna look the same, especially through kids, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah,
Mm.
you might get a few that are, real into exercising and eating good and blah blah blah, and you know, um, constantly buying different things, to keep up with their skin so they don't get wrinkled, et cetera, et cetera. But that's very few. That's very few. So most of us slack in an area or two. I mean, we're not perfect.
No.
So
Light a cigarette, Kelly. Drink a beer. Drink a pot. Whatever.
I
That's what I'm getting ready to do.
wish I drank beer, but I don't. I don't like it. I don't like it for two reasons. I
Mm,
actually like the taste of it, but I don't like what it does to my
mm.
stomach. Beer really fucks
Yeah,
with
you
my
got
stomach.
stomach issues. Yeah, you probably. Yeah.
Ugh, just and then I feel like shit the next day. I'm much better off to drink
Yeah.
some gin or vodka or something. I can't do as much as I like the taste of beer. I can't drink it like that. No.
All right. Hey, Kelly, can you take over for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Take over.
Okay.
I'll be back.
I don't know how I go back from the beer to the topic, but no, we absolutely, the other thing that I have the biggest problem with is the trickery. And this is where I even tell my son about this. A couple weeks ago, he said he was going to have lunch with a quote unquote Asian stripper. Okay, I don't like the idea of that as it is, but whatever. But the one, a big huge problem is the trickery. You are who you are. So if you are a man, you need to make sure that you're letting the person know, I may perceive to be a woman, but I am not a woman. I do not have the biological parts as a woman does. And that's what I don't like, because there's a lot of people that will do the trickery thing, and that's not cool. I even knew somebody that did it. She called herself, her stage name was Kaz Marie in my hometown. She went down to Mexico for a vacation, and she did that to some man in Mexico. Needless to say, she did not come back home, and it was not a pretty death.
Wow.
And I would assume that that's the scenario that happened. She was very pretty. She was very pretty. So he probably assumed he was going to a hotel room with a woman, and he was not. And when he found out, he killed her. True story.
I know that happens a lot, and a lot of them get upset because their fear, you know, and I think they should be open and honest. There are some people that are accepting to that lifestyle, but there are people who don't. If you go up there, what do you expect?
Yeah,
I'm not saying
exactly.
that person was right to kill them, but you have to be open and honest, no matter if
What?
you were once a female or you
Yeah,
were once a male. There's
yes.
some are open to that, but you just can't mislead people. You
Yeah.
just
Well, I
can't
mean,
do that.
in some cases, I've talked to people that will say it's easy to do. That you actually can. It is easy to trick people, and I'm like, how? How is that so easy to trick people? I mean, when you take your clothes off, that's obviously. But other people beg to differ. That
Mm.
it's easier. I mean, I can't see it, and I didn't really get into detail, but I think that should be something that should be put out there. I mean, I've heard a few different quote unquote celebrities, you know, get caught, I guess, engaging in that and not making it public knowledge. Where, as to me, you don't have to necessarily make it public knowledge. If that's what you're agreeing to engage in, that's nobody's business. But what I'm saying is just don't trick men into thinking that you're a woman when you're really a man, because some of them look beautiful. I mean, fucking gorgeous, where I wouldn't even know the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go in and get surgery. I guess you know how a man is an Adam's apple? They can go and get the fucking Adam's apple shaved.
Oh
So
wow.
that won't even be a defining factor. I mean, they could do a bunch of work that will completely fucking override anything your eyes are perceiving.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in the gay bars before with a couple of my male friends, and I'm like, okay, point them out. Point out the ones that are men and women. Oh my God. They didn't fucking know. They don't know, you know?
Yeah.
So, and this was years ago. And if they didn't
Well,
know years ago, they sure don't know now.
I gotta tell you, my brother was gay and he worked at this bar. It was called the Ugly Oyster, and it was the gay bar. I was
Yeah.
like, I wonder. It's like, okay.
Here we have a few. I don't know. Club 5 is probably the hottest one.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the Ugly Oyster was the bar that the people went to. It was
yeah. Yeah.
popular in my hometown. So
And
it no longer exists.
a lot of these things are kept on the hush hush. So, you would never know who's doing what. And like I said, that's not really for us to know who's doing what.
Mm.
I don't care as long as you're not tricking people. That's all I
Exactly.
care about. You can tell me anything because I'm not trying to go to bed with you. But, to try to trick another man, no, no bueno. That's not good. And, so there's consequences to everything.
Exactly. And some people need to realize that. You know, I'm not saying they should be ashamed of who they are,
No, no.
but they need to be honest and open, and these problems won't be exist, and stop living in fear. What you do and how you live your life, that's you. But don't push it onto other people.
Right.
No, no one's being mean. It's how if you go about looking for someone to love you and you don't tell them, you're hiding that. How do you expect them to respond? It's
Yeah,
best to be open and honest.
exactly. Like, even for me, I'm not going to run around screaming, hoorah, interracial relationships.
Mm.
I'm asked about it, I'm going to be upfront with you and tell you it's not easy because there's going to be questions and there's going to be, issues and blah, blah, blah. And not that I'm going to tell people don't do it. I'm not the one that's going to run around and tell you, yes, that's the thing to do and blah, blah, blah. That's just not me. But, to each their own.
How do how do men that are in the interracial relationships, how do they deal with all the issues in the relationships? Like, do
Um,
they experience problems like with the woman? You know what I mean?
this is what happens.
Do they go through stuff and they get blamed for stuff?
No,
That's what I want to know.
I'll be honest disclosure. This is what happens. People from outside of the relationship will cause you to have a misconception of what you're doing. And from my experience, it's been, pressure from now, like per se, my family's never said a word to me. Not to say Mose has, but it's been outside people that have said stuff to him. Like, oh, you need to get a black woman, or oh, you need to do this. But so what? It's minorcalities. But society will, we got all these different basically news outlets, if you want to call them, because technically anybody can be doing journalism, okay, or reporting the news when you're on here. So, and then people will say disparaging things that might cross your mind and make you think about it. But at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable in who you are and what you're doing. So you can't be concerned about what the fuck other people think.
Okay, this is what Joe said. It pisses him off when black men dating white women hate seeing white men dating black women.
Yeah, that is such an. I don't know why that happened because
I don't either.
I don't care.
Yep,
I've never cared. Even before I even dated a black man, I never cared. I never
exactly.
looked at it like that. I didn't care if I saw a white guy with a black girl or vice versa, but I grew up around different people, so it didn't matter to me.
I,
But it's interesting how they really don't like that dynamic. You
I
know,
see it as love is love.
yeah.
It does. Skin color does not matter. It's the shit that society is pushing onto people.
Yeah, and people will come on here with disclaimers like, oh, it was a white girl that came on here and said, black men aren't shit. They use me for my car and this and this and this. I'm thinking, you fucking idiot. You're the one allowing somebody to treat you like that. That's not a man. Where was your father? It's clear to me what a man is. Don't you know? You
Yeah,
know, so it's like it's that's silly to me. That's just I don't know. That's fodder. That's fodder.
yeah,
I don't want to waste my time on that because then I'll be feeding into all the other stereotypes.
exactly. That's their opinion and that's how they feel. But
They think
sometimes
you're
I think they
chasing,
need to look deeper.
yeah, they think you're chasing the what do they call it? The BBC. Get the fuck out of here, man. That's not
Yeah.
true either. You know, there's as I will say, there is truth in every stereotype.
Mm.
I'm not going to say how much. It could be 5% or 80%, but there is a little bit of truth in every stereotype. So what?
Hmm.
But I know that would sound kind of contradictory, but it's somewhat true, but not always. You know, it never you can never have a category that always that falls in always. It's just impossible. It can never be always.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where in this world anything can be always. You know, it's like even I get upset sometimes if it's a topic that I hear people talking about and I'm passionate about it. I have to
So,
remind myself, you know,
what do you
like
think of these women who think men should not have the right to their unborn child? That they have the right to abort them, and the man doesn't have a say. That they don't have feelings.
no, that's tricky to me. No, as I feel, I'm not a big, how do I say it? As I don't like the idea of late term abortion, I don't really get involved in that
Yeah.
because I've never had one, don't plan on having one, and it's not for me. You know, they'll have to deal with that in their judgment day.
Yeah.
But as far as men, I think that if a man is you know, headstrong, and I've seen this before, you know, on raising their child and they're absolutely for it, then I think that they should have a say in it. Most men I know kind of go with the flow of the woman, but there are some out there that are like, no, I want my kid. So at that point, I think there should be something that, you know, some type of way that they can go in and say, okay, well, the man wants the child, you know, and let him have it.
I agree. I think the system needs to change. The laws need to change. Especially with the abuse, and they need to start seeing that men are verbally abused or physically abused,
Because
and,
think about it.
and
If I get pregnant right now, if I
mhm,
get pregnant right now, and let's say Mo doesn't want the kid, which that wouldn't happen, but let's just use that.
mhm,
Um, but yet I can come back around, have the baby, and say, okay, now you owe me money
mhm.
on a kid that he never wanted. You know, and then people will say in society, will say, suck it up. You know, you're the one that had unprotected sex. Suck it up. You know, pay the child support. That's what we're known to think, right? Whereas I don't feel like that's fair. You know, as I don't feel, I know there's a guy on YouTube that supports financial abortions, meaning that if the man doesn't want the child, he should be able to be completely expelled from any support to the child. Now, as I don't agree with that 100%, I also don't agree with forcing a man to pay for something that he never wanted. So there has to be some type of happy medium.
Yeah,
That's what I wish could happen.
yeah, me too. So
Mhm.
you have guys that are trying to please their woman. They're showering her with love, like flowers, and doing everything to please that woman,
Mhm.
and they're just physically angry and unhappy.
Okay.
I mean, the roles switch back and forth. They're men just happy with their woman, and they're just complaining all the time. I mean, what do you tell them? Like if they're reaching out to, like other people, like they're embarrassed to talk about that. I'm being abused in my relationship. I'm verbally abused. I'm doing everything because I love this woman to make her happy.
Well, first of all, do not waste your fucking time buying roses and all this other shit if a woman does not love you anyway. None of that is going to change it. It doesn't matter. You can buy her the fucking world and it's not going to change love. But I would tell somebody if they were, you're saying that like if they're in a abusive relationship, is that what you said? Something about
It's
hurt?
kind of abuse in a way. You know, they're just an unappreciative bitch. They don't
Oh,
appreciate what the man's doing for them to go above and beyond to make them happy. And they're making this man miserable.
yes. I would use the old adage that there's a million fish in the sea,
Yep.
and there's always somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, you may look at that woman as the love of your life, and nobody's ever going to compare, and they'll do mental gymnastics with you and make you think the same, and manipulation. But the reality is, it's somebody else out there. That's not the one,
I think
because
that's
a
go
person
ahead.
that cares about you won't treat you like that.
Exactly. I think that's why a lot of men are afraid to get in relationships. They're so scared and they're so traumatized from everything that's going on and the things they see. It affects them
Yeah,
deeply.
yeah, and I think that's why I hate that they go through such a bad experience young, because then it's like it taints them right there at that like 19, 20, 21 year old mark.
Hmm.
And then things get real rough because men don't technically come into like their own securities until like 33 to 35, so our maturity levels aren't the same. So it's kind of frustrating to me because I'm not going to tell a man, I learned young, you don't play with men's feelings.
Yeah.
You just don't do it. So, the two things people die over, women and money.
Hmm.
So I feel as if women should be more clear and forward with how they're feeling. Thought culture, all this other shit that has popped up, OnlyFans. People are going to tell you whatever you want to hear to get what you want out of you. Somebody truly loves you, it's not going to be based on the gifts they can provide for you.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's about understanding, getting to understand your man and be there for them. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, showing love and compassion, because there's shit you went through, like a woman goes through shit too.
And money can't compensate. Okay.
No.
I've had I've had relationships with a man who's had a lot of money. Money money cannot compensate for love.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you buy me. It doesn't matter what piece of jewelry, what car, what vacation. None of that matters because it can't compensate. If you're a shitty person and you're doing shitty stuff, it is what it is. Them gifts cannot override your assholism. And
Exactly.
that goes both ways.
It does. It
So,
really does.
yeah.
I mean, I think I'm just so sick of these feminazis. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, I am
Nazis.
just so sick of their pink wearing hats. If I was men, anybody that had kids with them, I pack up and leave and run the other way to find a real woman. And this is what disgusts me as a woman. And I know it disgusts you too with all this stuff. We
Yeah.
have to relate what our men go through. I mean, they could be traumatized by their own mothers. They have experienced things as abuse from their own mothers.
Yeah.
It could be emotionally, it could be physically. So sometimes you got to look into their soul and be there for them when they need you and when they're open up about things. Be sensitive and
Right.
compassionate and understanding.
Right. Absolutely. I would think that would be uh, the most important part. Um, because I mean, what if you can't have the emotional connection? Um, there's you can't really go any further. You know what I mean? Kind of like the buck stops here. I don't know. That's, it'd be nice, like I said, I don't want to be a man. I feel like a man's position is the head of the house.
Yep, that's how I
A
think.
lot of women don't like that. Whatever your scenario is set up, like I know some men, they chose to stay home through this scenario because their wife made more money and they got kids. Makes sense to me. If
Yeah,
she's the one that's getting paid the most and you are staying home taking care of the children, okay, fine. This is a new day and age.
exactly. It doesn't make you a less of a man.
No,
It
and
doesn't.
and one typically one income these days, we can't make it, right? You know what
No,
I'm
I
saying?
can't. Trust me.
We
Uh, no.
we we have to have two people, pulling together to make it happen, or it ain't gonna work. So, I mean, I would absolutely, I've been involved in prison reform for many years, and man, I've seen men sent to the ringer, and I would absolutely love to see something different. If there's a way we could figure it out to where we could change the system, that would be nice to see, you know?
And this is something that should be talked about and be brought out so there can be a change, in the system everywhere.
And
This
men
panel
feel like
tonight is just like bringing light to this stuff.
that's why that statistics show that men die faster. And it's not because they're only worked to death. They emotionally have everything pent up. They got to feel like they're less of a man if they cry, or if they're less of a man if they don't take it. It's like, no, everybody goes through things. It's okay to have emotions. That doesn't make you less of a man. Now, if you're sitting on here boo-hooing every day of your life, that you might want to seek, therapy.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not wrong, you know?
No, it's not wrong for a man to release his emotions every once in a while, as
It's not
long as he's not resorting to anger,
right,
you know what
right.
I mean, and physically getting violent. It's release it with crying, if you have to do it that way. A woman should be able to, when her husband's crying, that he really is down, she should be able to reach out. That's what a true woman and hold him
Yeah,
while he's crying.
you support each other, you know?
Yep.
And
Yep.
and my son will say, "Mom, you're too hard. You're too hard." And I know I need to let up some because I've done the groundwork.
Yeah.
So I probably do need to let up. I am kind of harsh. But I guess I'm just so used to it, and that's how I was raised. My
Yeah.
mom told me all the time, life's a bitch, suck it up. So I cop that attitude.
Yeah.
You know? So when somebody's saying to me, like, oh, this is happening and that's happening, like I will have compassion for a person initially.
Yeah.
But if you keep banging on it, I lose my compassion. Life's a bitch. Suck it up.
Yeah.
Because that's what the world is going to tell you, you know?
We only got 8 people watching. Seriously? Kelly Rae's famous. Get your ass in there.
I'm not famous. Not at
Kelly,
all.
what happened? You send the links out?
It, it's
Gotta
different
bust his
people.
butt.
It's different people live right now too.
Yeah, I know. I know Alex is live, Mo's live. Yeah, I don't know who else is live, so
Yeah, I think he's done now.
I think Alex went about he was supposed to start at 11, so yeah. No, well, we're all in different time zones, so
And reality is on YouTube you cannot, I've realized that you cannot hold back or do your streams around others because you'll be waiting forever. You know,
yeah.
It'd be nice, if everybody could kind of line up, but it's just
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
not gonna happen.
It's funny. I mean, I had it set up for yesterday, but I was like, okay, just change it.
Right. Well,
Because you didn't know what was going on your end.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I was like, we'll make it the next day.
And when you get tired, you get tired. I'm like, shit. I
Yeah.
end up doing that to myself. I'll stay up all night and then go to sleep at like 10 in the morning, and then I'm dead for the whole day. Like, oh, why did I do that? Like a bad hangover.
So, what else do you think that men experience as well?
I think the lack of compassion is the biggest thing. Society just doesn't have compassion for men. That's the biggest, I think, the biggest issue. Now, I'm not saying I want a whole bunch of pussies running around per se, but you know what I mean when I say compassion. It's just that we take for granted their hard work. Most men I know are just trying to provide for their family, and it's like whatever they got to do. If it's two jobs, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Ideally, you do want multiple streams of income coming in,
Yeah.
but that's not always an option.
Yeah. Some men want their women home and taking care of the kids and raising them because of what's going on today. I was like that, Mom. I just wanted to be home with my kids. I hated having a babysitter.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean, even
I
when my
get it.
daughter was born, I hated it. I left my sister watch my newborn baby, and she
Well,
couldn't handle it. She had her
oh,
own kids, and she couldn't handle it. She'd be
okay.
going work. I don't know how to make your baby shut up. I was like, she wants her mom. I told them, I said, I looked at my husband and said, I gotta quit. This is a baby, only 2 weeks old. I can't.
Yeah.
And I paid her for the whole month, and I asked her for the part of the money back. She didn't give it to me. This is my family member that I paid, my own family member, okay? No. This is what my mom always said. A woman's place is always in home. The man's the breadwinner.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents pretty much taught me that
But
too.
not today. It's the opposite. A woman and a man has to work. So we have to hire babysitters, but now with all this craziness, who do we trust with our children? So
Yeah.
when they're sent to school in school age, we trust the school with our children.
And the school is only a glorified babysitter anyway.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I didn't let my son stay with anybody until I was, fortunate enough to stay home until he could go to Head Start. And Head Start was actually a pretty decent program, I thought, and I say that only because I was involved, you know. So it's and he enjoyed it. It was like 2 blocks away, so we could walk there. It was like half a day. So it wasn't that bad. But I would absolutely say that I would agree with women staying home with children, especially until they're able to go to school, which we know that the school, like I said, is a glorified babysitter, but at least we know, um, it'd be nice to keep them home, but at some point you have to socialize people. You have to. They have
Exactly.
to socialize somewhere. I mean, my friend homeschooled her kids, and then finally, by the time they got to high school, they were like, no, we want out. We want to be around other people our age. So she ended up having to send them to public high school because they wanted that.
Yeah.
She didn't necessarily want that, but they wanted that.
So
So
what do you think about parents homeschooling their children? Do you think it's
no, that's a great idea. If you're able.
yeah, with the things going on today
Yeah,
and
that's a
they're
great
teaching our
idea.
kids, don't you think if like say, it's a single dad, he wants homeschooling, he hires a teacher to come into the home and expects them to teach everything the way it's supposed to be.
Well, that's just the thing, and that goes into cancel culture, and that goes down to another rabbit hole because
Yeah,
our history has partially been erased and has been twisted and has been told different ways. That's why they call it his story. You know, everybody has their own opinion on what they think it is and what it really is. You
yeah.
know,
If a dad says, I want you to teach my kids the original history, this is the way I want it, I'm hiring it.
well, yeah, if they're directing it which way they want it to go, I mean, I guess, but you have to be careful who you're hiring.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Michelle.
I mean,
I know
if
I
you
sound stupid
know
ass going off topic.
no, if you know the history, you're better off teaching it yourself than hiring somebody else. I mean, you could simply, use private school, public school, and then when you get them home on your own time, then you're able to expound on teachings or correct what you feel is wrong.
Yeah.
Because the books are always getting rewritten. These books are always getting rewritten. Before us, there was no cursive. My generation gets cursive. They take cursive away. Math problems are done differently. Everything fucking changes. So it's constantly changing. So
This is a problem I have with some women because, like, say a man's raised and he's going to school and he has to drop out to take care of it is his family member that's very sick and he has to take over everything. And
that's a
because he
sacrifice
doesn't have
they make.
the education, he has a good job and he's dating a woman and she starts judging him. How would you feel?
Well, that's kind of bullshit. I mean,
Yeah.
it.
Like she's highfalutin, had an education, and she was making fun of him. I mean, it happens in both with males and females that they give up something that they, you know,
I wouldn't even tolerate that. I mean, we make sacrifices, but you can't have a person isn't there to beat you up. They're supposed to build you up. So
exactly.
if you're not being productive in the relationship, then you might as well end it.
I mean, it does make men feel like they're less of, you know, oh, I didn't have our education, I didn't have the opportunity. But there are some people that don't. Eventually in their life, when they get older, they'll probably go back and start educating themselves.
But who cares? Is that what really
Exactly.
matters? Is your educational level what really matters to me? No, I'm not really
With a lot of
concerned.
women, yeah, they just like when they find out. I mean, guys are ashamed of that. Guys do keep things to themselves that they're ashamed. They don't. They only reveal so much. Today because in today's society they have to be, put a mask over like a shield, just because of what's going on.
I get it, but I wouldn't waste my time. You only live once.
Mhm.
That's my answer.
Anybody want to join us on the panel? Michelle, I put the stream link in. I seen Michelle pop in, hoping she'd pop on here. Post it
Oh.
again.
And everybody isn't qualified to teach children. I'm not. I'll be honest. I am no history buff. It never. I mean, yeah, history intrigues me a little bit, but because I've heard so many different versions, I gave up on it. I don't care. So,
Yeah.
um, I don't give a shit if you're a physicist, whatever you call it, I can't even say the word right. Physicist, what is that word I'm trying to say? Basically a scientist, but it's a nicer term for it. Um, I don't care about how many degrees you have, your double majors. I don't care about any of that. It might make me listen to you to, feel you out to see what you know that may be interesting to me, but I don't care about that shit. None of that really matters when it comes to issues of the heart. Anyway.
I said, see, it's strictly a female panel, but I said if a man wants to be heard, he's welcome to come up. I'll put the link in. The link's there, guys. If you want to be heard and share your experiences, Kelly and I are here for you. We're very compassionate women. We understand. We ain't no
Physicist.
psychiatrist.
No, he's trying to say it. Physicist. So what I was trying to say, if I don't even know. I can't pronounce it right. Fuck it. I don't care.
Who's saying something? I can't. I'm trying to read chat blind. I don't have my glasses on, Kelly. You read it.
Oh, yeah. No, and then Terry was saying a woman doesn't want a mama's boy. Yeah, that's pretty damn sucky too.
Well, no man wants a daddy's girl either. It's vice versa. I'm gonna tell my daddy on you. Or a man that says, I'm gonna tell my mom on you.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I've taught, like I said, my son thinks I probably need to be a little bit nicer because he thinks I'm too damn hard. He'll never say that I did anything right. Blah, 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 blah. Well, that's not really true, but I guess you're not going to get too much of a compliment out of me unless you get a damn Olympic medal. I'm
That's
kidding.
a good one.
I'm kidding. But, that's,
Yeah.
I think sometimes we're hardest on the people we love the most.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's necessarily because we always want them to do better, or it's a factor of sometimes we can be taking out our issues on them because they're closest to us.
It does happen. We don't realize and recognize that we're doing it. Whatever we've gone through, it's in the back of our mind and it does come out. It's the same with a man. It
Yeah.
happens to them. It's just, it happens. Certain key words will or actions will trigger that person. You know what I mean? It happens, Kelly. It does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I find myself, and I'm not above it. I find myself having to come back an hour or two later after I think about it and be like, I need to apologize because I was kind of, a little bit too rough about that, and my delivery comes off wrong, and so I'm not above, reproach, and anybody, that's just being honest.
It's
And
when you, yeah,
sometimes,
yeah.
yeah, and sometimes I judge too quick. I'll let one thing, turn me off to another, you know.
Yeah.
So, I'm not above it.
None of us are. We're only human, you know. It's when you can come together and say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's people who can't say they're sorry. It means they don't really love each other and they don't mean it, you know. I mean, you, as my mom always said, never go to bed angry, ever.
And I hear, you know what? Mo was the first one who told me that. He's the first one I ever heard that from. Okay? I haven't had a
We're
bunch of
related.
I haven't had a bunch of men in my life, okay? I've only
Mhm,
been with two men, two
mhm,
solid relationships, okay?
mhm.
Um, I've dated a couple of other men, but that's it. It hasn't, been this long relationship here and there and here and there. And so I'm not well seasoned in that area. But that's the first time that I really heard um never go to bed angry. And that's hard. That is not fucking easy. Especially if something pisses you off. And I know I hold on to shit. Yes. 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 I hold on to it and it's bad.
Yeah, I guess we're temperamental people, Kelly.
I
Oh
don't like
Lord.
that about myself though. I really don't like that about myself.
Yeah, me either.
You know, I hate that I do that. I hate that. At the time I'll be so fucking mad, that I want to just cuss somebody out. Where
You're like me.
and then a couple hours later I'd be like, oh shit, did I really fucking do that, man? Did I do that? Like that was so petty.
Yeah, and then you feel like shit. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I look
And
like an ass.
then I gotta turn back around and fucking apologize. And
Yep.
I've even done this to my father. It's like it's the men around me that get it the most. You know, Lisa, it's so bad that none of these men will co-sign each other. They don't want nothing to do with it. Like, she's on you. I'm out of it. Like, don't bring me in the line of fire. Don't do it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Shots fired. Move. Get away from her.
yes. And even my son and
Mm.
my dad, it's funny because when my dad was at home, um, and I'd come back home from being out of town and be like, why ain't this done? Why is this like this? And they're both pointing the finger at each other. He did it. He did it. Neither one of them want me complaining at them. So
Yeah.
at that point, I do realize if they're both pointing the finger at each other, just drop it, Kelly, because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that bullshit.
I mean, this was funny. Like I had made like when my boys were young and my daughter was young, and I know she doesn't go in there. She has respect for her. She knows her mama
Yeah,
needs to eat, and she was working third shift. I mean, the boys they would just chow. You know how boys are. They like to chow.
yeah.
So I made homemade ham and cheese hoagies. I mean, from like it was like from a sandwich shop. It was banging,
Okay.
and I made one for work that night. I go to grab my sandwich and it's gone. And I said, who ate my sandwich? And both the boys pointed at each other. Yeah, thank you. That was my lunch.
Funny.
I was like, that's my lunch. What the hell's the matter with you? Now, what
Yeah.
am I going to eat? I don't know.
Well, that's why now it's easy for my son to say, Nipsey did it. He'll say the dog did it. Like, why is I've been looking for a new couch anyway, okay?
Yeah.
But the couch cushion was ripped, so I could see a little bit of the stuffing. And so what the hell happened to the cushion? And there was like black shit on the back of the pillow.
Mm,
Now I've been gone for a month, so it's basically been like a bachelor pad, okay?
yeah.
And so who knows what the hell's going on when I'm gone? They could be having wild parties I'll never know. And I said, if I get a call from the fucking police department, there's going to be a problem. So just know that, you know. But anyway, Nipsey did that. Nipsey now Nipsey did everything, you know. So he knows I'm not gonna do nothing to the dog because the dog ain't gonna understand it anyway if you don't catch him when he's doing it. So, oh God, yeah, I don't. I leave the dog alone.
Yeah.
Oh, Moose Man, my love.
Hey,
I
Moose Man.
hope you're
Thank you
doing
for
okay.
coming.
I was gonna
His ears were burning because we were talking about men.
I
Not in
was
bed. We were just saying what men go
I,
through.
I was thinking about him earlier though, and I was gonna
Yeah.
call, and I thought, no, I don't want to call and wake him up
That's
or
all right, but they can come on the panel and they can express what they go through. You even notice I decided to make it a women's panel so we can relate to what they're going through, and like that we see through their eyes and their hearts and their minds, what they're experiencing, because some other women won't. So, and that where their voices need to be heard too.
right. Yes, the dog did get named Nipsey after Nipsey Hussle, and actually
Oh, I loved him.
his brother,
No, it's Nipsey Russell. Did
no,
you say Hustle?
Yes, Nipsey Hussle was a rapper that got
Yeah,
killed
it's
out
Nipsey
in Los
Russell.
Angeles. Yeah, but it was initially. I know there was a Nipsey Russell,
Yeah,
but I
but
didn't.
there was a rapper, so he was named after the rapper. So I ain't confused.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the
Mhm.
dog was named after the rapper. Yes, not by me. My son did that, but his friend actually bought his brother, so his name is Hustle. So there is meaning to that.
Yeah.
Fried chicken. Moose Man's always talking about fried chicken. He said men just want to be patted on the head until we did. Yeah, he's
Oh, I
right.
love fried chicken. I like making it myself.
They're simple.
You know what?
But
This
what
is
if the man
what.
is a better cook? Mo cooks better than me, man.
Well, so does
Most
Tom.
days.
Tom cooks too. He taught me how to make homemade bread. This man can whip up stuff and
Mhm.
like it's like diner food.
And my son can't make hamburger helper. I don't know what the hell he survives on.
Ramen noodles and hot dogs and the box macaroni and cheese.
He'll probably fuck that up too. No, he did. I did see he had the strainer out, so he probably figured out how to do that. But I think growing up, I did what my mom did. My mom kept me out of the kitchen until I was about 17. So I didn't my actually the girl that taught me how to cook, my best friend, she's a mixed girl. She taught me how to cook the best shit. Greens, fried chicken, all types of shit. But rest in peace, Shauna. She died. She had childhood
Oh,
diabetes.
oh, that's a
So,
shame.
yeah, she died at
God
40.
bless her.
Yeah. So that was hard on me because that was like my
Yeah, when you lose somebody you know and stuff and are close to.
best friend. But yeah,
Yeah.
we met when we were like 16, and she's the one that even showed me. And then my mom let me in the kitchen at 17 when she knew I knew how to cook a little something. And then
Yeah.
she wanted me to show, how do you make that fried chicken like that? Show me. So
Mm,
then then I ended up showing my mom how to do it. And
yeah. Mm.
so
I love
anyway,
fried chicken. Oh, I do. I mean, I like making it myself, but there were some occasions that I just like go to the store and I was like, I like their fried chicken too. So all I have to do is put it in the oven, heat it up, drain the grease off.
actually what's good is when I don't know if you got a Kroger, but anyway, they'll sell the rotisserie chicken, but it's cold. So it's a little bit
Mm,
cheaper. And then if you can get it to where it has a couple days left on it, it's
mm,
real cheap. But anyway, I rip it apart and I put some avocado in it with some pepper and mayo. It is so good with just them couple things. The chicken and avocado go together so good. It's like a chicken salad, but it's I guess a tad healthy.
My husband hates avocado.
I
He's
love it.
picky.
I can eat it with
Women
just.
are picky, men are picky, especially when it comes to food.
Oh fuck!
So,
If I could grow an avocado tree, I'd be in heaven. I would literally be in heaven if I could have that.
yeah. I've eaten. My son took me out for my birthday. He took me to Friendly's and he treated me, and they had this avocado and spinach dip,
Hmm.
and it was delicious. I was like, I never eaten avocado and spinach. It was just mixed. It was good at Friendly's. It was
Yeah, I
good.
believe it. I wish I could show you my cat here. I was worried that when we started, because she was messing with the cursor, she was chasing the
Sounds
cursor.
like mine.
And I'm like, shit, I hope I can get her out of here before this starts.
Mine likes to walk in front and stick her ass at the camera. She's sleeping right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
she'll be
sleeping.
up here making love, and when she hears voices, she'll come walking by. Well, I'm
Yeah,
glad she's sleeping.
we definitely need more space because I look around, I'm like, I have so many fucking clothes. It's insane.
I
There's
gotta get rid of mine. I
everywhere.
have my skinny clothes. They won't accept them because if you smoke, the smoke goes in your clothes, so you have to throw it out.
I ain't throwing shit out.
Even though you wash it, to say people are still saying we can still smell a cigarette smell.
Oh, can you hear Mo? He's over there yelling at somebody. I think he's messing with RBR right now.
I can
That's
hear
what
him.
I heard
He
the
said you
clan.
don't have a door-eating clothes.
The door is closed. That's just how loud his voice is.
Yeah, he trips me out when he gets all excitable. Mo's an excitable boy.
He, he does the best impression I've ever heard of Alex Jones. He can imitate his voice so well.
You know who else can do it?
Ooh,
Outlaw Morgan. I don't know if you ever. I know Mo met him.
yes, he knows him,
They,
but I don't.
yeah, he has his shows. He still goes live, but
He
he's
showed
calmed
me.
down a lot.
He
And
showed me,
he
and
does Alex Jones. He makes fun of him all the
he showed me another guy too named what's his name? Tommy Guns. He's a real. I watched a couple shows. He's a real cool, laid back guy. Just
Mhm.
chilling on the video.
He was on. He was talking about Milo, his fish. He was live. It's called. He's got. It's called Tommy Gun TV. That's his new channel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He seems like a decent guy,
he
and
is. He
we
got
plan.
divorced.
Yeah, we plan to go to. We plan to go to Florida. Mo was saying how he wanted to get back up with a few of the like original grassroots that he started with, and potentially doing like a second more, like
Well,
do something.
Tommy said he's not doing it.
He won't do it.
Nope,
Yeah,
because he said he invested lots of money and
that's
stuff
what.
like that, and people weren't contributing. This a lot of shit had happened, and he wasn't having it. He said he would
Yeah,
no longer do it. He was really pissed. I don't know if you've seen his videos, but if Mo can touch base with him, he can tell Mo what actually happened that really pissed him off. It just set him off. He was done. He was just finished.
yeah.
Well,
I think now that you
it's
say
like
that,
he
now that
put all his money, invested everything, and there was some shit that went down, and he was pissed. He said, "I'm not fucking doing it anymore."
yeah, that bites. Now that you say that, I think now he said. Now that I think back to the conversation, it was more like a something he would want to do, but probably didn't think that everybody would be on board. So I think I kind of remember that now.
Yeah, they weren't on board and they didn't want to help out. It's like,
But
here's Tommy dumping his money, and he was like trying to get these vendors and stuff, and then there was, everything was a mess. This dude was busting his ass to put everything together, the bands, everything.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he is a cool dude. I like him. He's like, yeah, he's really cool.
Right. Well, I probably need to get out of here, Lisa, because I got to get up early.
All right, honey.
It's going on.
All right, we're going to end this live. Thank you, Kelly, for coming, and thank you for the discussion. I think this was really awesome. Thank everybody for showing up. Give it a thumbs up and share.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good night, Kelly.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.